Hello, hello, hello. My name is NicholassRivas, and I talk about politics and stuff. And today we're going to be talking about the UFC. UFC 279. What the fuck just happened? Oh my fucking god. So, uh, let's just start with the press conference. Press conference gets canceled. Everyone's freaking out. Nobody knows what's going on. What? Like, I'm watching this live on Thursday, and I see people scrambling around. I see, Dana White freaking out. Coming to find out, there was a scrap with Kevin Holland, Kamsat. Nate Diaz jumps in with his crew throwing water bottles. Some things just never change. So, yeah, it's crazy. This is insane. I wasn't excited for this card. Like, I wasn't making a big hoopla, even though I like Diaz, even though I like Tony Ferguson, and I really like Kamsat. I just didn't think this was a good fight for Diaz, and I didn't want to see him get beat up. And also, it's his last fight. Like, I just feel like it's a bittersweet moment. They've been messing up this card for a while, and I think with the whole press conference debacle too, it just made it even worse. I'm like, I don't even want to watch. It doesn't feel enticing. It just feels really like forced and crazy. And there's people saying that this whole hoopla was all staged. So, I mean, it could be, but for all we know, there's a scuffle. I'm watching live. Like, what the hell's going on? This scuffle ensues. People are going crazy. They cancel it. I've never seen a press conference canceled. I've been watching UFC since like 2005, 6. I haven't seen the press conference canceled, but it is what it is. I'm like, this is crazy. This is wild. Come Friday, Kamsat misses weight. The whole card basically gets canceled. Kamsat then proceeds to be moved to fight Kevin, and Tony and Diaz fight, which is the fight that we've been asking for forever. We wanted to see Diaz fight Tony. I can't believe they haven't fought in the past. It just seems like a match made in heaven, right? So, good on them. The fight ensues. Card's kind of shambled a little bit. I mean, I think this is better, but I also think I wasn't enticed to begin with, so I think anything is better. And to see Diaz and Tony fight was just, making my younger self happy. So, fight starts. I'm turning on the TV as I'm trying to like figure out, what's going on, and Johnny Walker wins. Like, I just see the guy on the floor doing the worm. So good for him. I don't like seeing Johnny Walker lose because I think he's athletically this beast. But his IQ, man, I think he does stupid things like him knocking himself out, or him, I guess trying to swing and bang with people he shouldn't, even though he's athletically pretty good. I think he knows jiu-jitsu pretty well, right? Like, I think the guy is all around like a well-rounded fighter, right? But he keeps setting himself up and not having the IQ. And I don't know if it's just his corner. It's always hard to tell. Like, we'll never know the mindset of the man. But good on him getting the submission. I hope to see him continue and really prove himself. But yeah, I think I recently heard from the Israel Adesanya videos that he is athletically the like PSI, like the highest PSI haver, like this physical strength index. He's like the top. I think he's just this beast. He can hit hard. He can run fast. Like, this guy is just good. But good on him. Not the biggest Johnny Walker fan. I think I've been tainted with how he like loses. Like, he gets knocked out funny, which is sad. I don't want to be mean. The next fight is Irene Aldana. It's pretty good. I mean, versus Macy Chiasson. I was very surprised that she didn't utilize her boxing more. She kept trying to grapple, and what I was reading was that she's a boxer from Mexico. So, I mean, good on her. I also liked Macy Chiasson. She did really good too. Both of them were doing very good. I mean, I couldn't complain. I thought it was a really interesting fight, but I don't think anyone predicted it was going to be an up liver kick. I mean, who would have thought that? So, I mean, good on her for having a really unique finish. I've never really seen like knockouts with a face when someone's on the floor kicking, but not like a liver kick. Then we go to Daniel Rodriguez versus Li Jingliang. Ugh. It hurts. It hurts, man. It hurts. I was rooting for Lee because we all know that he is just a beast. He's a gangster. And I like Daniel Rodriguez, but Daniel Rodriguez didn't have to make a sacrifice here. Daniel Rodriguez was the bigger guy who I take that back. He did have to make sacrifices. He was going to fight I believe it was originally Kevin. He was supposed to fight Kevin. And so he got his whole world flipped upside down. So both of these guys suffered, but I think Lee suffered the most because he was fighting someone bigger. He's coming off of this loss. He's trying to come back, and I think a lot of Chinese fighters have just been thrown to the wolves, right? Like they have these up and comers, and I definitely think the UFC wants to capitalize on their Chinese markets. So they definitely have like a good handful of fighters who've come up. They're about to probably take the scene, and they lose. And so I wanted him to win just for that alone. But seeing how excited he was about the suit, in the press conference being canceled, he was like, "What happened about my suit?" Like, it was so sad. But seeing him do really well with Daniel Rodriguez was the insult to injury. This guy had to take a bigger dude. It was a catch weight, right? And I think even the last fight was a catch weight. Yeah, the women's fight was a catch weight, which is wild to me. There were so many catch weights. I don't know. This is definitely probably not the most catch weights, but it should be up there because it's a lot. I mean, there's 3 cards on the main that's catch weight, so interesting nonetheless. But yeah, Lee, he fought this guy. I think he did good. I think he did better. I think Lee was hitting him really fast and swiftly and really precise, and he just looked like the better fighter. And I think Daniel Rodriguez was, capable of this power punching, but I think he just couldn't capitalize on it. Where Lee was like, I think being cautious, definitely being sportsmanlike, because he was dabbing him up, and they were pretty cool after every round. And I think they both respected each other. Like, hey, we didn't sign up for this shit. So, I mean, good for them. Good for them for the fight they put on. But man, it sucks to see Lee lose. I love Lee. Either way, though, he got a place in all of our hearts. Then we get to Khamzat. Khamzat and Kevin. Someone who lost their place in many's hearts. Khamzat missing weight, I think, made the card better. I think a lot of people were willing to admit that. But it's sad to see him be... I was rooting for him. But he disappointed me. And I keep feeling disappointed with him, where I'm like, this guy is good. He's a beast. But he's not disciplined. When he fought his first fights, he was like back-to-back fighting. He was even doing like wrestling stuff outside of the UFC while he was waiting to fight people. Like, the guy's a beast. The guy's a monster. But seeing him fight Gilbert made me go, ugh, this guy is kind of goofy. Like, he's not listening to his corner. He just wants to swing and bang. And that's never wrong per se, but he didn't look good. He didn't look like this unstoppable beast, which is fine. It's Gilbert Burns. Like, the guy is one of the greatest fighters of all time. But then to see him go into this place without the weight, or with the weight that he shouldn't have been, seeing him act reckless with Kevin, like, I wasn't feeling it. And I know he's trying to play this villain role, but I think I'm just maybe sick of it with like the Colbys of the world and the McGregors. But I could care less. I just want to see you make the weight and fight fairly. And I'm glad Kevin stepped in, because I think this is a better fight than Diaz anyway. But it just still broke my heart to see him not be disciplined as much as I think he should be. And I'm scared it's the whole Darren Till thing, where like they're kind of laxing together. And I want to see Khamzat this hungry beast, but we saw that. We still saw that. I think I'm just kind of halfway in, halfway out. The way he dismantled Kevin is not surprising, but I don't know. I'm very surprised. I think after he got COVID, I thought, okay, he's going to be a different fighter, because a lot of people after COVID just fucks you up. But he came back with Li Jingliang and he killed him. But then I'm like, well, was that welterweight? I mean, can I see him with the middleweight? I could be wrong. I think Li Jingliang was a welterweight, but correct me. I recall, though, him not having a middleweight fight since COVID. So that's why I was like, I want to see him fight these bigger dudes, right? Like, and his cardio didn't look good with Gilbert. So have a 5-rounder, Kevin might win just on decision, right? But that wasn't the case. And I even tweeted that I thought Kevin's going to knock him out. But wasn't the case. Khamzat came in. Khamzat wrestled. And even though Kevin, who I think learned from his mistakes with Derek and Vittori, not to take anything away from him, because he did get that scramble and he got out initially. But Khamzat still put pressure. And I think Khamzat knew that was his only way to win, was just to put pressure on this guy, because you don't want to stand with Kevin. Kevin will knock you out. And that's why I thought Kevin was going to. But Khamzat, like an alligator, stuck with him, stayed with him, wrestled with him. And Kevin had to tap. It just shows the beast of Khamzat. Like, there's unpredictability with this guy. But it also shows, Kevin has improved. I don't think people are giving Kevin enough credit. This is definitely a fight he didn't prepare for mentally, I feel like. So I don't think this is the end of Kevin Holland, but and I think we all love Kevin. I mean, the guy's great. He's like a good citizen. He's a damn good fighter, you know. So we'll see. But in terms of Kamsat stock, it definitely rising up now. Even though I don't think it should. I think you should make your fucking weight, but it is what it is. Either way, fun fight. I think Kamsat did save the card. Even if he fucked it up. And all that being said, this could have been orchestrated. This could have been Dana playing this crazy hype for the fight. I don't know. It's hard to tell because a part of me is also like, I feel like he wouldn't want Diaz to have a nice send-off. So I think he wanted Kamsat to destroy him. A lot of factors here could contradict each other, but it did entice me to watch because I was not wanting to watch it before. So then we get to the final fight. Diaz versus Ferguson. Both of these guys, legends. Both of these guys are fun to watch. They have unorthodox styles. They're both weirdos. They're both like... well, Tony's a weirdo. Diaz is like... he's definitely odd. and they're fighters who should have fought a long time ago. Now, I don't think... If memory serves me right, Tony was fighting any welterweight since 2015 or 16. I remember a while ago he was fighting at welterweight, and ever since then he's been lightweight, which is fine, fair. I think Tony really had the advantage in lightweight given his height and length. But I think welterweight was probably a better fit for him, like healthy wise, especially now with him getting older. It's probably harder to cut weight, but it was hard to watch this fight. I definitely think this is one of the greatest and worst cards, given the fact that all the shit show that occurred, but also the idea that Diaz and Tony just are that old. I mean, Diaz didn't look that bad, but he definitely didn't look the same. And even seeing him do the antics, I think he was using that as a crutch. I think he was really tired. I think Tony was scared of getting knocked out. It's a bittersweet ending. I'm glad Diaz is walking out, scared that Tony's gonna stay in. Even though he had fun, I'm glad he had fun. I just don't want him to get hurt. I think after the Chandler knockout, Tony isn't the same. And what's sad is in that Chandler fight, he looked good. So we'll see what Tony does. But right now, I definitely didn't have the funnest time watching the fight. I mean, it was like my childhood was like, yeah, cool, I'm watching this fight. But a part of me was like, damn, they're getting old. And I think this is a good send off for both of them. Like, I wish they had their hands up in the air like they were doing, and they just took the gloves off, both of them. But I think Tony didn't want to take from Diaz's, chance. And I think Tony too also enjoys the fight so much that it's gonna be hard for the guy to leave. But he won our place in everyone's heart. I mean, Tony he saved multiple cards. I think he saved the Gaethje card. But again, it goes to the man's character. He saves these cards, but then he injures himself. Gaethje, after that Gaethje fight, he wasn't the same. I mean, I think he really took too much damage there. He could have been a Khabib, potential Khabib winner, go against Khabib with some competition, and after that Gaethje fight, it didn't look like that was going to be the case ever again for him. And then after Chandler, it's just going to get worse for him. I'm glad Diaz gets to walk off free. I hope Tony follows suit, but I'm glad also that we got to see this fight, and it definitely made me feel more enticed to watch the fight after hearing it's Nate Diaz versus Ferguson rather than Kamsat versus Diaz, because I think Kamsat would have hurt Diaz, and just maybe, I think this is why I'm in the camp of, like, I think Dana did not orchestrate this to be a shit show because he wanted to see Diaz lose like that. Usually fighters who leave the UFC or who are leaving have a pretty bad time with the promotion. So, yeah, it is what it is. I'm glad the fight turned out how it did, and I think it went the best way it could go, and I think it's a good spot to end it here. So thank you all very much, and yabba dabba doo, gabagoo.
Arm in C4. Hostile trophy neutralized.
Enemy spy plane inbound. The mission clock is expiring. Bomb is armed.
Arm in C4.
Your gas line was destroyed by enemy action.
Hostile female down. Appears KIA.
Enemy sentry turret detected in your AO. Bomb planted. Hold your position. Hostile spy plane established overhead.
Assault in front.
Mission complete. Clean up crews, ensure there are no survivors.
All objectives complete.